everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. Always a pleasure to be hanging with you on AH Live. And we have a very special episode. Two incredible artists. We don't always do a doubleheader, but when we do, it's fun because we have a lot of new music. And I also have a couple new songs never performed before for you guys as well. That's right. New music across the board tonight on AH Live. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, please click share. We want to spread the good vibes, spread the love. We're here every Wednesday. And if you're tuning in for the first time from maybe Gregory's page or Sam's page, welcome. We're here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, with incredible guests and new music. So don't forget to jump on over to Adam Holly Artist page and click follow, click like, so you can be here for all the great content. But as I mentioned, a double header. Both these gentlemen are newer to the genre. Gregory had a huge hit a summer ago and has a brand new song and music video to share with you. And then Sam, he's toured with everybody and their mother, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Cher, Bette Midler, but his very first single came out and is burning up the charts as well. So we're going to hear from them in a little bit. But first, I've got a special guest for you. A little early, my lovely wife, Kat. Let me bring her in here. There she is, Miss America. And we are going to do a tune that we worked up several years ago, but this is our first time performing here on AH Live, and I think this will be the first time you've heard us do it. So without further ado, let's jump right in. It's an Adele tune, but we put our own spin on it, so I hope you all enjoy.
Don't need to think it over if I'm wrong, I am right. Don't need to look no further, this ain't lust. I know this is love, but
my goodness. Thank you so much, honey.
Thank you.
That was lovely. And we're going to hear from you a little bit later. Okay. So, wasn't that lovely, ladies and gentlemen? So, as I mentioned, Gregory Goodloe and Sam Sims, and they are just moments away. But real quick, just want to remind you guys, if you want to help out, we make it real easy. I've got that link in the description, and that will take you to Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. You can also do stars, and I can't say it enough. The reason why we've now done 42 episodes in a row is because of your generous support. So we appreciate you guys. Got some fantastic episodes coming up in the coming weeks, which I'll let you know about in a little bit. But appreciate you. And without further ado, please enjoy Gregory, followed by Sam. All right, what's up, Gregory? How you doing today?
Hey, Adam, I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Man, I'm good now. I'm a little jealous. It looks like you got quite the guitar collection that back there, man.
Oh, yeah, man. I don't know about being jealous, but I got a few over here. You know, I got them out so that I can grab them whenever I think about them and, you know, do my thing.
What was the reason you picked up the guitar?
Wow. I was a kid when my cousin had a guitar. It was an acoustic guitar sitting, and I used to play with it as a kid, you know, kind of lay it across my lap, and I would strum it. And he was an avid Wes Montgomery listener. So I was listening to Wes, and I would play until the pick dropped in the hole, and then I'll spend more time trying to get the pick out of the hole than playing the guitar. Yeah, so that's my start. I always wanted to be a guitar player. I ended up going to school and playing snare drum first. So I used to bring in the colors of the flag and all that, playing the concert band. And then I got blessed in junior high school to audition for the jazz band. So I auditioned. I didn't know anything, man, but the teacher was great. He's still on my Facebook, a contact friend. I did an Ohio player skin tight to get into the jazz band. Really? So he let me in, and I started to try to learn how to read music a little bit, and I progressed on, kept playing all the way up to high school, and then ended up getting a scholarship, man, for music in high school. So I went to college.
What was the reason that you decided to step to the front of the stage and put your own name out there?
You know, I live life, you know, and go through different periods of life. And there came a time for me where I said, hey, I worked as a forklift operator. I worked as a telecommunications. I was in the Army. I did satellite communications. I'm like, man, I've done all this stuff for everybody else. And I said, let me see if I can do what's inside of me that I've always wanted to do.
Wow, and you certainly did. You had an incredible run back in 2019. It kind of reminded me of my first single in that, man, you had a song that just wouldn't stop and went all the way to #1. Tell us about that experience.
Man, it was so real experience. The song it's called Stylin'. It was written and produced by a great friend of mine, Darren Ron. Like all songs, you never know how it's gonna turn out. But this song took off just like an airplane coming straight off the runway as soon as it came out. We had a good run with it. It turned #1 on the billboards. I was blessed. #1 on Media-Based Adult Contemporary, and Alan Kempler's it became #1 on his smooth jazz charts, man. So we had a real good run. I had so much fun connecting with you on this track, Stepping Out. And man, you went so far even to make a music video. Oh man, I was blessed to connect with the guy out here in Colorado Springs. You know, I'm from Denver, from Alhi City. And I met this guy. He's also a veteran. So we connected through veterans, helping veterans. So he had a video company, and I'm like, hey man, I need a video done, because I didn't know how I was going to do a video. I was thinking about running around with my iPhone and just doing this. Because I don't know what I'm doing as far as video work. So he volunteered to help me out, make this video, man. And we were out in Colorado Springs. We kind of put it together. And we got Elon Troutman, who's going to be the featured saxophonist. Got him in the shots, man. So the video and the making of it was fun.
before we get out of here, Gregory, please tell us, where can we find you online and on social media?
Okay, before that, can I give a shout out to Mel Brown, who's on the bass?
Yes.
Don Troutman, Eric Valentine's, the mighty drummer, and yourself, who's killing the wah-wah on it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can find me on Facebook. I'm on Gregory Goodloe Music. You can find me there. My website is www.gregorygoodloe.com. I'm on Instagram as Gregory Goodloe. You can tweet me on Twitter as Gregory Goodloe. I'm even on LinkedIn. If you want to do some business or have a business or you need anything, just hit me up on my LinkedIn page, Gregory Goodloe.
Perfect, man. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to drop in, and can't wait for what's to come with this tune. So appreciate you, Gregory.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate the invite, man.
All right, what's up, Sam? How you doing today?
Doing great, man. Good to see you. Good to talk to you.
Well, I'm going to start off like how I do with everybody. What was the reason you picked up the bass?
Oh, wow. Going way back. Initially I started playing guitar and drums first. But when I was playing guitar, I just automatically gravitated towards the bass for some reason. So I would play bass lines on guitar. So I wore those first couple strings out, and don't know why. It's just what my ear kept hearing, Eventually I ended up getting a bass. There was a guy in my neighborhood that said, you're playing the wrong instrument. You might want to go down to the local, Walmart or wherever and get a real bass, It wasn't real, but so that's how I switched over.
Wow.
12.
And so what were some of the influences? Who were the bass players you were kind of learning their lick?
Oh man, I loved the Earth, Wind and Fire, Burning White, Jaco Pastorius, of course, Larry Graham, Stanley Clark. Those four were probably my, biggest influences. One more.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me not mention Louis Johnson.
Oh, yes. I was waiting. I was like, wait, come on now.
Yeah, I'm tripping. But yeah, it was definitely Louis was probably number one out of all of those guys.
So you made the plunge. You moved out to LA, and just give us an idea. What was that like, and what was the big break? Because you have such a celebrated career playing with literally everybody, but what was that first big break?
A friend of mine, Sonny Emery, told me that Ndugu Chancellor was auditioning bass players. And I wanted to move anyway, and the one thing Sonny told me, he said, the guys don't play any better, they're just here. He told me about the audition, so I ended up, like January, I'm going to move to LA and do this audition. So that's basically what I did. I jumped in my car, drove across country, brought my mom's gas card, a couple $100 in my pocket. Wow. Just went out on faith. And he told me I could stay with him, with Sonny, so that worked out. Have a place to stay. But I guess that break came. I ended up getting a gig with Ndugu, and he was coming off, Billie Jean. So he had just played that record, of course, that was one of the biggest records ever. So every time he would do a gig, everybody in town would come out. So, from doing his gig, I think Gerald Albright called me for his gig. He was just starting his career. And, one thing, what I've learned about LA is that it's a very small business. If you had a good reputation and you can play and cool, it's a pretty small business. So one thing led to another. Next thing you know, I'm playing for Joe Sample. And from that, started getting some pop calls after that, which is Sheena Easton, Paul Abdul, all that kind of stuff. But I would say Ndugu probably opened up so many doors for me being a new guy in LA. You
toured with the biggest of them all, Michael Jackson. Just give us just a little tidbit on what that experience was like.
Yes, I ended up doing, I don't know how many shows, 2 or 3 shows with him. It was kind of he was doing a couple of shows from Nelson Mandela's foundation, from what I was told. So, and then he just kept calling me after that. So that was pretty cool, But man, I have to say, I play with a lot of artists, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody that when you say touched by God, that dude was touched. first of all, you can't take your eyes off of him. So I stopped watching him doing the performances because you end up making mistakes watching him, you know. Get so caught up in his world. He had this, this aura, man. I can't explain it, but that's probably me and, 50 other million people had the same thing. But yeah, it was an unbelievable experience. So good. I just couldn't believe he was that good.
You mentioned Louis Johnson. I'm a huge Brothers Johnson fan. And then, in fact, your new single that's on the Billboard chart right now is a Brothers Johnson. You revisited it. Tell us about this tune. First of all, why did you pick it?
So that song, I always wanted to cover it or play it in a club. No one ever knew it. So it wasn't a hit or anything, but I just thought it was a great song. And, obviously many years later, I said, I'm gonna cover this song one day. So I just thought it would be a great start to kind of introduce myself as an artist.
I don't want to give it away, but I think it's okay to say you're working on an album. So what's coming up, and where can we find you online?
The song is available on all digital formats right now, but I also have a website, samsimsbass.com, which we are constantly updating and putting the information out. I am working on a record. It should be, I'm hoping in the next couple of months I'll be finished, and we'll have another single following Q. I'm going to do 9 songs. It's going to be some smooth jazz stuff. There's some funk. There's some great ballads. I mean, it's just kind of a mixture of who I am, but it all kind of comes together.
Awesome. Well, we love it, man. You've literally played for a who's who, so it's time to step to the front of the stage. So no one better than Sam Sims to do that. So appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping by AH Live.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yes, the one and only Sam Sims. Incredible. And quite an ensemble he had there, too. Live in the studio with a revision of the Brothers Johnson tune. Thanks so much, Sam. And one more thanks to Gregory Goodloe with the brand new song. Look for it. It's coming out next week. Steppin' Out featuring Elon Trotman. I had the distinct honor of producing and mixing that track, and the video turned out awesome. So congrats, Gregory, and thanks for jumping in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for my lovely wife to drop back in on the cat cam. There she is.
Hi.
All right. So nice to see you again.
I know, right?
You already blessed the stage a little
thank you.
earlier.
My corner here, my stage.
Right, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, don't let the secret out. No one knows.
Right.
They think we're in a sound studio. No, but no, that was so awesome earlier. Thank you, honey.
Thank you.
And how about Gregory and Sam?
Gregory and Sam. Oh my goodness, I enjoyed both of them so much. With Gregory, first of all, I have to say, I know that song by heart. Only because I've been, when you were working on it.
Well, you got to get it right.
Mixing and producing. I've heard it probably like 10 hours a day for a couple of weeks. So.
Well, I work on it till it's right. So, but so happy for Gregory, man. The video is just stellar, and the song is popping, if I do say so myself. So excited for that. Wishing you all the best, Gregory, next week.
Yeah, and so many people loved him.
Yep.
Ellen Nakata Harper, she says, nice sound. Thank you so much, Adam, for introducing us.
Yeah, my
Sean
pleasure.
Davis says, love your new tune, Gregory. Ross Johnson says he's always looking for new guitarists to listen to, so he's happy that he was introduced.
All you need is me and then Gregory. That's it. No, it's great because there are a lot of horn players, not as many of us string players. So actually, that kind of worked out too. We had both a guitarist and a bassist today, so we're keeping the strings alive for y'all.
Yes. Sunny Fink, she was one of the many people that loved the video. She said, amazing video. So many people were saying great sound. They loved Greg's music, and that they were definitely waiting for an album.
Yeah, Gregory, they're looking for the album. Make sure you come with it. And by the way, I pinned a comment there. Gregory provided a link so that you can pre-order. So check that out. Like I said, it's pinned in the comments. So there you go.
And then Sam Sims.
and ladies and gentlemen, we don't have time to get into his resume, but I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Cher, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Bette Midler, Joe Sample. It just goes on and on and on. He's so nice when I'm down in the South to jump on several of my shows as well, which is such a pleasure. And now he's stepping to the front of the stage with the Brothers Johnson remake, and the tune is climbing the charts. So really cool.
And it was awesome. And I have to say, I am, as you know, I'm such a huge Bette Midler fan ever since I was young. I think it just because, my theater background, and she's just an amazing performer. And Sam, I think this was probably like 6 years ago. Sam was on tour with Bette, and he was nice enough to give Adam and I some comp tickets, and I just about lost my mind.
It was so much fun. It was down at the Honda Center. It was an arena, 20,000 people, and man, Bette was just killer.
It was so amazing. amazing.
It was so much fun. So much fun.
I was like,
yeah.
thank you, Sam. And Sam, you know, is great friends of Adam and I, and so is his wife, Charisse, and they're just super nice.
Yeah.
Every time we're in the Atlanta area, you know, we're seeing them and hanging out.
Definitely.
But so many people loved Sam's story, of course, his history, as you just went into, and his sound. And so many people, when he started doing the Brothers Johnson, they were like, oh my God. Lynn Stupart said, Sam Sims bringing the funk.
That's right. Oh, no question.
And I believe it was, I think it was Joy Nicholas. She was like, Sam Sims, the bass master.
Yep. No, man. He, like I said, he's literally played for everybody, and now it's his time. So, man, really killer. Really killer.
I know. It was awesome. And I love that video, Sam. That was like really cool.
And I apologize. I forgot. He told me who did it, and I can't remember. Maybe if he's in the comments, he can say the name. But yeah, they set up 3 cameras for him because he's the star, of course. So they had 3 on him. So he had the multi-camera plus all the rest of the gentlemen with their individual angles. But yeah, the editing was killer.
Yeah.
All of the cuts back and forth and
it
the
was
effects.
so smooth.
No,
Yeah.
it's killer.
Yeah. And then I think Kurt, who was it? I can't remember. I'm sorry. But someone said that they heard or seen the keyboard player before.
Oh yeah, Wes Bird. Yeah, so he plays with everybody down. I believe he's in Atlanta, and so he plays with everybody down that way. He's been nice enough to do my show a few times. You'll usually see him with Mike Phillips, no question. He does a lot of Mike's shows. You'll see him with just about everybody. So.
And then the gentleman playing the flute, that's Kelly O'Neill.
Kelly O'Neill, fantastic flautist
sax player.
and saxophonist, and he's nice enough to do a lot of my shows down the south. So yeah, so it's all family. It's all family.
And then
on
did you know the guitar player?
You know, I don't know him. So you got me there.
Adam's like, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
If his name ain't Adam, I can't help you. No, I'm kidding. That's terrible. That's
Oh,
terrible.
and Kelly O'Neill just popped
What's
in.
up,
Hey,
Kelly?
Kelly.
Oh,
We were just talking
man.
about you.
Killer player. What's up, Kelly? Thanks for dropping in, man. You were slamming on that
He
tune.
said, great show tonight. I must, in all caps, tune in more often. You should.
Come on, Kelly. We're here every Wednesday. He's in Atlanta, so 9 p.m. for you, 9 p.m. Eastern.
And the last time we were in Atlanta actually was it March 1st or 2nd? Or no, it was the last day of February.
It was February, yeah.
And it was he and his wife's anniversary.
That's right.
And I cannot remember the number. Kelly, please drop it in the comments. But I want to say like over 20 years or 25 years, something like that.
We were at Sweet Food with Doc Robinson. And what's up, Doc? He's a lot of times watching the show. Really awesome promoter down in Atlanta. He's brought me down to Sweet Food a couple times. And that's right. We saw Kelly. That was one of the last shows before the shutdown.
It was. And you know what, you guys? I was so sick that weekend.
Yeah.
Coughing and coughing and coughing. My sister had to let me borrow my niece's nebulizer for my asthma, take breathing treatments. And so I think I had COVID then. But, you know, that was before people really were kind of aware.
I thought it didn't exist until March 14th.
I know, right? Well,
No,
I had something.
I was really sick, too. Yeah, regardless, COVID or not, we both were really sick.
That show that we played with Kelly,
I
couldn't sing. I couldn't sing like 3 songs. I sang 1 song, and I told Adam I cannot sing because I literally could not breathe. It was a struggle.
No, I remember. I was having a hard time, too. So, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I think I had it.
So wild. Yeah. Well, awesome. Thanks again, Gregory and Sam. Really awesome conversation and awesome song. So we're going to transition. We've got a few pictures from our last week here at the ranch. And as you know, we've been getting really into the brick oven pizza. And so last week, there was a few people asking you, Kat, right? How you, the behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
How did you get it going?
So we made pizza again
Yep.
this past weekend, just because the weekends are like kind of our free-for-all. We can treat ourselves to what we want to eat.
Exactly.
And so I took photos making the pizza so I can show you guys.
Yeah.
So I make my dough at home.
There we go,
So
in the
homemade
mixer.
pizza dough. Make it in the mixer. Sometimes when I can't find my attachment, I do it by hand with a wooden spoon, and it's not fun. So I'm so happy that I have the attachment. So I mix it with the attachment, and then of course you have to let it rest. I let it rest for like an hour.
Here we go.
So it rises.
You're seeing, it's like a butterfly. You're seeing the metamorphosis in progress here. Okay.
And then, you know, we have all of our stuff set out. And normally you would use like a hard surface or a butcher block if you have one, a cutting board. But I actually use like this marble. It's like a round marble. It was a cake stand, and it actually broke when we moved. So now it's my pizza roller.
And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we drank that champagne before she started using the bottle. We did not waste that.
And so I roll the dough, and you can use, you know, your hands if you want, or a pin roller. But in this case, I'm using a very expensive bottle of champagne. So yeah,
it makes it taste that much better.
It does. So roll it out, and then
here's the final
top it
product.
all off, put it in the oven, and then it's wonderful,
so,
tasty, beautiful.
As you can tell, if you were watching last week, I had a few burnt pizzas in there, but
they were not burnt, they were charred.
So this is week 2. I did a lot better. I'm the one manning the oven, and I have to pat myself on the back. These are looking delectable, and they tasted delectable. And then Kat, you know, she sprinkles on like, you know, olive oil on top. She put some basil in there. Oh my goodness. We worked that out. Plus a bottle of wine.
Right.
So that's becoming kind of I think we're going to, you know, that'll be our Sunday kind of treat, you know, because
it was our every weekend treat when we first got it back in August, when you gifted it to me.
Right. Yeah.
For my birthday. And like, I think for like a month straight, every weekend we were having pizza.
Well, we're back on it now. So we're on the kick. But, and then we had a couple more photos. You guys are always asking about our family dog, Rufus. So we just have a couple of him in the natural habitat of our house. So here he is on the steps.
This is his new favorite spot. He's been here almost every day, probably for like 2 weeks now. He just kind of chills right there on the stair landing. So.
And we got one more. Here he is kind of laid out, stretching out a little bit. So that's Rufus. He's not as innocent as he looks in this picture. Let me tell you, we had a few more presents. As you remember, when we first moved in, we were getting some presents all over, and then he was stopped for a while. Now we were seeing him pop up a little bit, but he's still getting used to the place. It's funny too, you know, he never had to deal with stairs, so he still once in a while kind of gets tripped up a little bit, and you know, but no, he's a sweetheart. You know, our son is just totally infatuated with him. So that's the main thing. It's for the children. It's for the children. Well, we've got one more segment for you guys. Let's switch on over to Ask Adam. What are people asking out there, Kat?
Okay, well, a lot of people were putting in their questions.
Thank you. You guys are on it. You're on it.
Thank you. Oh, before I start, Cherise Sims. Hi, Cherise.
Oh, what's up, Cherise?
That's Sam Sims' wife. She says, hey, Ken, Adam, want to add one more thing. Q can be found on YouTube at Sam Sims Q.
Yes.
So if you guys can see that in the comments, she put a pin there. Go ahead and head over to YouTube and check out Sam's stuff.
Grab it. And he's got the new record coming, so make sure you keep in touch with him.
Okay, so we have Kurt Smith. Oh, you're so sweet, Kurt. I wrote this in a hurry and I forgot that it was for Kat. It says, this is when I was singing the song. He says, how does she do that with no headphones? Wow.
Well, very carefully, because right before we went on live, she said, I can't hear myself. I said, deal with it. We can't change anything now because we had everything balanced just right. And I had done a pre-test and made sure everything was cool. So I was like, well, if I turn you up, then it'll be too loud for the audience. So interesting fact, I'll let you guys know too. Same for me. The guitar, I have to have it a little lower than I would really like to hear. But that way it's the right balance for you guys. So that's the main thing. I want to make sure you all have a good experience watching the show. So Kat's a professional, you know. She was a professional before I met her, and you know, now we do all these shows together. So you know, she's got it going on.
Right, and you know, I'm very used to that. Deal with it is something that Adam tells me on a regular basis.
Wow, you're making me sound like
when we are performing, because a lot of the times, if it's, you know, a small club, or just somewhere relatively small, and I don't have necessarily a monitor to hear myself right in front of me, a lot of the times I have to share a monitor with Adam.
What a diva. She wants a
player.
monitor.
Yeah,
her
I want a
dedicated monitor. What a diva.
So a lot of the times I can't hear myself, but there is a term that we say muscle memory for singers, is because we know what it should feel like, a certain note or sound. Or texture that you're supposed to sing. We know what it feels like. And so if you can't hear yourself, if it doesn't feel right in your throat, your vocal cords, then you know it's not right.
No, there you go. There it is.
So yeah, this is a good question. Following that, my good friend Charlene, hi Char, she's right around the corner from us here. She says, any foods or drinks that you avoid before a performance?
Oh, interesting. Well, definitely you as a vocalist, you got to avoid dairy, right?
I avoid a lot of stuff. I typically do not eat before I sing at all. So when we're at shows, a lot of the times places will have dinner or lunch for the band or, you know, musicians, artists before the show, and I don't eat anything because I just can't. Some people can. Some people can drink soda, have ice cream and whatnot. How? I have no idea. Because I stopped drinking soda when I was 16 years old. That's when I really started becoming very seriously as a vocalist. And the soda and the sugar, everything just coats your vocal cords. Chocolate, especially, anything dairy. And then, of course, anything super heavy. So, yeah, I avoid pretty much everything except for water or tea.
And, you know, for myself, I kind of have a list too, even though I'm not doing a lot of singing. But, you know, I've been known to enjoy a tasty beverage, but after the show. I find, like, if I have like a drink or something before the show and I get up on stage, it's hard to just focus on everything. So I'm usually completely sober, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it right here, until I hit the CD line.
Yeah, we're usually starving after.
Well, that's the other thing too. You mentioned food. I usually eat very little before a show. Usually just a salad, like a Caesar salad or something, because I want to be light on my feet. And if I have a bunch of food, I'm trying to digest and play. You know, it's just too much. So and
I sweat a lot. However, I'm only on stage half the time that you are. So Adam probably releases like a gallon of water through sweat. And, you know, if you don't have a lot of food in your system, and so we get sometimes a little tired and crazed after shows, and we're just like, we need something. Robert Zahn, this is kind of piggybacking on that. He says, are there any foods or drinks you need? Like, I guess, like in the green room or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely a banana can really come in handy. Like right before you're going to play, just give you some energy, some potassium, you know, so that's a go-to. But like I said, I generally order like a Caesar salad or a salad with chicken, and that's kind of my go-to before a meal. And then afterwards, we usually indulge in whatever the delight is of the locale we're in. So if we're in Atlanta, we'll go get some barbecue or something. If we're in the South, we'll try to find some soul food or barbecue. You know, whatever the delicacy is of where we are. So we usually save that for after the show. So
definitely. Let's see. Joy Russell Nicholish says, how do you decide the title for your new songs?
Oh, great question. What's up, Joy, down in Austin? Joy and Peter. Yeah, you know, it's tricky because there's no words, and a lot of times if you have a song with lyrics, you can just grab one of the lyrics and make a title. So a lot of times it has to do with where I wrote the song, what I was thinking about, or where I was. So as I mentioned to you guys, my next single is coming out at the end of February, Tokyo Groove, and I wrote that in Tokyo. I was on tour. I was a special guest with Dave Koz, and we were doing the Blue Note Tokyo, Blue Note Nagoya, and we also went to Hawaii as well. And so one of the cool things about doing the Blue Note trip is that you're in the same city for several days, so you have a lot of time in the hotel room. So I wrote that song there, along with 99 and Counting as well. Both those tracks off of my new album. So so that's the story behind that. The story I tell often is of While You Were Dreaming on my first album. I dreamt that entire song a couple days before I had to go record. And it's so rare to remember your dreams, so I thought it was a appropriate title to call it While You Were Dreaming. So that's just a little behind the scenes, but it's funny, you know, that's one of the most difficult things about being an instrumentalist is the titles. And somebody who took that to heart is Jeff Lorber. He was telling me he has a notebook he walks around with just writing down titles, and he'll assign them later to songs when he's looking for titles, and he's got a whole organized way about going about that. So it's pretty funny. So great question.
Allison Fader.
Yeah.
She says, what was the last live concert you played and how does it feel in retrospect?
Gosh, we're coming up on a year. Well, I take that back. You know, I did do Rick's Cafe, which was a lot of fun. We played together live, but of course there wasn't an audience other than his family that were there at the house.
Yeah.
So I guess if you really, maybe that doesn't count. So the last one in front of an audience was in Louisville. Shout out to Wallace Garner. He had us down there. Jerry Greens and friends, and it was so much fun. Completely packed. And really incredible show, and the band was awesome too. They drove down from Columbus and played for me, and it was such a blast. So that was on March 1st. That was the last show, and he's talking about bringing me back to Louisville. By the way, if you're anywhere near Louisville, of course, the caveat is if things are better, but he's talking about wanting to bring me back this summer. So look for that. If it doesn't happen this summer, it'll happen later. So we were just in touch a couple weeks ago. So yeah. That was the last one. How does it feel in retrospect? Gosh, I miss it so much. As much fun as this has been hanging out with you guys, and we've created something new here with AH Live, which has been awesome. But of course, we love being able to play for you guys. So can't wait for it to happen again. No question.
Nicole Caselli says she hit her 1-year mark since her last live concert.
Wow.
And it was you at South in Philadelphia.
That was so much fun. That was one of the last ones, too. That was my first time at South, and it was so much fun. Thanks to Gerald Veasley for having us there. And, a big thanks to you for being in the house. And also the Browns were there, Mike and Crystal, and a bunch of other of our good buddies. So
and it was so cold.
Yeah, it was cold, but we had a good time though. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And
well, we got time for one last one. You got one more for us, Kat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Deborah Childs Baker.
Yes.
This is actually an Ask Kat.
Okay.
It says, when are you coming out with a CD?
Yes, Kat, when are you coming out with a CD? I have been saying this for years. I was like, we should work on something, and we just haven't. So maybe this can be the impetus. Yes. But what is your answer? Let me not commandeer Ask Kat. Go ahead, Ask Kat.
My answer is I don't know. Actually, Adam and I were in very, 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 very beginning stages of doing a project for myself last year.
Yeah.
In 2019. 2 years ago, I guess now. But, we're always so busy on the road. And then when I'm not on the road, I'm also a mom and a wife. And then, then we were trying to move. So I was trying to deal with that. And then COVID hit. Yeah. And, the world ended. And, I was just on the couch drinking every day.
Right, yeah.
Nothing really got done. That actually would have been the perfect time to, write songs.
Yeah, we were sitting around.
The whole world was just depressed. I couldn't write anything.
Well,
it would be a depressing album.
Maybe this could be the impetus because they're asking for it, Kat. They're asking for it.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. It's, and it's a very scary thing. I know people are like, oh, when are you going to come out with the album? But, for artists, and especially vocalists, it's very daunting.
Yeah, but I know exactly what you mean because I started on my first album when I was in college. I was 20 years old, and it just didn't feel right. And so I waited 11 years before it came out. So I totally know what you mean. Sometimes you got to let it marinate until it all makes sense. So, you know, and when the time is right, the time is right, you know. So
Yeah, because 35th Street, Adam wrote that when he was still in college.
Yeah.
We were still dating.
Yeah, exactly.
And he gave me his little demo with 3 songs on it. On, like, you know, remember how we used to burn CDs off of our computer? He gave it to me, and it's just insane how long ago that was.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I was a teenager.
yeah, no question. So yeah, I had to let it marinate a little bit. I had to set it down, go out, go do some other things, meet some new people, and get some new experiences. And then the time was right in 2016.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, people are asking, Cass, so let's figure it out.
And I did have questions from people written down, but we can just, you know,
we'll
bring
roll it
on
over to next week. We'll be here. We'll be here. Thanks so much, Kat, for dropping in.
Thanks, guys.
And speaking of next week, we will get to your questions. We keep track of them, and we also have a very special guest all the way from Atlanta. That's right, we have the one and only Reagan Whiteside, flautist extraordinaire, and she is burning up the charts. Her last 6 singles all hit Billboard Top 10. She is just really killing it right now. Incredible player. We just connected working on another project, which I'll tell you about that as well. But she's going to drop in, and we're going to collaborate, have some great discussion, and we'll be here 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday, all the way from ATL, the one and only Reagan Whiteside. So I promised you guys one more surprise before we get out of here. I'm taking you all the way back to my college years. This is a song I cut my teeth on when I first got to LA. It's a Spyro Gyra song, and I'm a huge fan of theirs. And so I'm going to share it with you right now. I worked this up earlier just to play for you guys. It's called Shaker Song. I got to get some finger snaps from you guys. Come on. my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of Spyro Gyra to close this out. This was so much fun hanging out. Thanks again to Gregory Goodloe and Sam Sims for dropping in. Don't forget, if you want to support the show, just go to the description, click that link. We've got PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, stars. Huge thanks to all our supporters out there. We'll see you next week with the one and only Reagan Whiteside. Hope you all have a great evening. See you next week.